Today I'm going to demonstrate the differences between the interfaces of the Helix, the Headrush, and the Kemper. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it's like to set up an entire live rig in the Headrush. And you're also going to see what it's like to interact with the interface. Okay, so you start out with a blank canvas here. You just have a bunch of empty blocks. There's no cabs, there's no amps, there's no pedals or anything here. So you just tap one of these and a bunch of options open up for you. I'm going to start with an amplifier. So let's go down and scroll through the options and pick an amplifier. Let's go with the Soldano. Okay, so it automatically comes with a cab. Now if you don't want that cab, so you just grab it by tapping on it and holding it down and drag it to the bottom. It'll ask you if you want to delete it. Yes. And now it's an empty block. So let's tap that and go into custom IR. So now we can grab an impulse response as opposed to the cab that came with the unit. I'll hit default and then you hit this right here and all your options pop up. I'm going to go ahead and choose the live ready sound impulse response that I'm going to use for this shootout. So let's go ahead and hit that, pick a color, go back, and there it is. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is get an overdrive pedal. So go down to distortion, pick that. I always go with the defaults because I can make changes with that later. And the changes that you make are over here on the side. So you could just hit drive, you know, want all the drive, turn it down with this knob. So there's a corresponding knob with each block here. You just turn it up or down depending on your taste. So it's really easy to do. And the other thing I'll point out too is you could switch things around just by grabbing them and moving them around. You know, you can move things over here, over there, whatever you want to do, and it's very easy to do. And then you just move everything back, obviously, because I'm not going to put an IR in front of the cab. So it's very simple to do. I'm going to keep this right here. So let's move on to the next effect that I want to use. Let's go with some delay. Dynamic delay. Let's go with the default stereo and we can adjust those parameters right here. You can scroll through and see the different parameters that you can adjust with these knobs. Okay, and it also allows you to do that with the expression pedal if you want to do the hands-free adjustments. Okay, so let's say I've been playing for a few minutes and I really don't like the green JRC OD pedal. And I want to select a new one. I don't have to delete it by dragging it to the bottom and then opening up the menu again to search for a new pedal. All I have to do is select it, push enter, and hit that, and then all of the pedals in that category will pull up and then I can select a new one. So that's kind of a cool workaround as opposed to always having to delete something and then go back and then start all over again. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing. Same thing with the amplifier. If I don't like this amp and I want to choose a new one, I push enter and then I can go ahead and select all these again. I can go through the whole list and select whatever I want. So I thought that was kind of a cool option for you, so you're not always doing the long way to do everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and select a few other things. Let's go with some modulation. Let's get a chorus pedal. Very simple, default stereo. You know, we can adjust that right here as I showed you before with the other pedals. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to add is a flanger. So let's go ahead and hit that and go down to modulation, hit flanger, and let's just do a default mono. So, and then again, all the parameters are there to adjust. And then we want to go with a phaser. So here's an orange, a tron, a stone. Let's go with the stone. That sounds kind of cool. Default mono. And you can change the rate, depth, feedback, and stereo on or off. Here's the mix and the sync. So you could do all that right there. And how about some reverb? Let's put some reverb in here. Reverb delay. See 11 reverb spring. Let's see what the 11 reverb is. Oh, you have several options here in each one that you choose. So you can go through all of these, and if you want like the air reverb, yeah, you do have other options here. So we can go with like a church just for kicks here. And so that's basically what it's like here to interact with the interface. It's very easy. Hey, let's say you forgot, like I did. I forgot to put a wah pedal in here. So it's like, well, what do I do? Do I have to delete stuff and move stuff around? Let's find out. So let's go ahead and grab a wah from the expression section. Let's go with the more, which I believe stands for Morley. And we'll hit that, and obviously you're not going to put it in the effects loop down here after the amp. So let's see if we move it up here, and if everything moves. Everything moved. Everything just scooted over. So that's actually really cool how that just happened. So it's very intuitive, and it allows you to make mistakes and not have to do a bunch of stuff to correct them. It kind of knows that you're going to forget things, and it knows that you're going to want to put things in different places afterwards after you play for a few minutes, and it allows you the freedom to do that without having to start all over again or delete stuff or copy and paste stuff. It's very easy to use, so I think that's really cool. So that's basically how you use the interface on the Headrush. Okay, so now we're going to set up an entire live rig in the Helix. Here's your selection knob right here. You basically just move it to the spot you want to put something in, push down, and select whatever you want. Obviously, we're going to start with an amp. So I'm going to start with an amp only, not just amp and cab, but amp only. Guitar, and then just scroll down through all of the many amplifiers that they have. And again, since we're shooting out the Soldano tones later between this one, the Kemper, and the Headrush, I might as well just start with the Soldano. Now we'll dial these in later. So there's that, and then we go down and select an impulse response, which I'm going to use the same impulse on all of these. And then so down here opens up all the parameters there, and then you can select your impulse response here. So there's the one I'm going to use, so select that. There you go. I'll go back to the amp, and here are all the parameters and knobs associated with them on the bottom, and you can adjust everything as needed. And there sometimes is a couple of pages, so you have a page button that will allow you to go to different pages. If there's a lot of parameters to adjust in each amp or pedal, you can just hit the page button to go to all of those and make all of those adjustments. So next, we're going to use an overdrive pedal. Let's go before the amp and pick that. Just go with the Scream 808, pretty standard pedal. And again, here are all the parameters and knobs to adjust them with. Let's go ahead and get a wah pedal in here. As you go with the throaty, there it is. So as you can see, this is all very simple to do, very easy, very quick. Let's go with some delay, stereo. I always go stereo. You could do a simple delay, or you could do like a ping pong, which is usually what I do, and then you have a lot of parameters here that you can adjust, and you even have another page to adjust them with. So go ahead and pick that. Let's go with maybe some, reverb. I love the Searchlights reverb, so that's the one I'm going to pick here. And how about some chorus? Go to modulation, stereo. Let's just go with the regular chorus. But let's say I made a mistake and I want to put this before the amp. All I have to do is hit action, and then I can move it before the amp if I want. So it's very simple to do. And let's go with maybe another modulation. We can go with the script mod phase, which is Eddie Van Halen's phaser setting. And we could put that before the amp as well. And how about a flanger? The gray flanger is awesome. So go ahead and put that in there. So there you go. There is how the interface works on the Helix. And because this interface is so easy to use and intuitive, it encourages you to go in and make changes and fine-tune things without the fear of getting frustrated. Okay, so now we're going to dial in a live rig on the Kemper interface. I have a clean slate here, so what I'm going to do is first choose an amp with the browse knob. You just go here and go through the tons and tons of amplifiers that I have in here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Soldano because again we're shooting that out later. And so let's go ahead and add the EQ. So let's turn the EQ on and all these parameters pop up so you can adjust all of the normal EQ settings on any amp just like you would a real amp. Here's your gain, and here's your rig volume, and here's your master volume. Okay, so you have 4 stops in front of the amp, and then you have 4 after, which is basically the effects loop. So let's go ahead and load these up here. Let's go ahead and start with a overdrive pedal. Go with the green boost, and it's on auto load, so it's automatically going to load it in, and then all my settings are right here, and I just turn these knobs to adjust whatever settings that I want. And the next thing that I can do is hit exit, and then I select this next stomp section, hold it down, and turn the selector knob to whatever I want to put in there next. If I want to put in like a flanger or something like that, I can do that. So there's a flanger, and then of course the parameters right here, exit, and so on and so forth. So if I want to pull in some delay, let's pull up a delay, and then turn the browser knob and pick whatever delay that we want. There's a lot of pedals in here, so it takes a while sometimes to get through them all, but not that hard once you get to know where everything is. So here's all the delays. There are a ton of different delays in here too. I have some that I've saved in here that are my favorites. So we'll just go with something like that for now, just to do it. Okay, and so on and so forth. So that's basically what you get when you're dialing in the Kemper and all the stomps in there. Now, one of the things that I did that I thought was really cool is if you hold down the stomps button, okay, and then turn the browse knob, you can see I have already saved, like I said previously, all of my favorite stomps that I put in the front of the amplifier. So I just called it front stomps. So I'll just go ahead and select that. And now all of my favorite stomps are right there. Okay, same thing with after the amp. I hold this down, turn the browse knob, and all of my post loop stomps are right here. So I hit that and it automatically loads and exit. Now I have all of my favorite stomps after the amp and in front of the amp, and it was very easy to do. It took a few minutes to save all those, but once I did, it was very easy after that. And I like that because honestly, it's harder to select one by one in the Kemper than it is with the other 2 units that I showed you the interfaces on, because there's so many pedals. It just takes a while to get through them all, and you have to sift through everything to get through things. So this makes it a lot easier. So I think that's really cool that Kemper found that workaround. So you spend a little bit of time once dialing in all your favorites and then saving them to a folder, which is very easy to do, and you're done. So every time you choose a new amp, you select those like I just showed you, and it's very quick and very simple. So the one thing I will say about the Kemper is because there are so many amplifiers in there, one thing they did to make it very easy to find the amp that you're looking for is they gave you certain types of categories to search for amps under. Let me demonstrate that. So I'll turn the browse knob right now, and then right here it pulls up all those parameters for you. So you can go ahead and search by author. So if you have a favorite profile maker that you want to search for their amps under, you just hit author and then you can search for them there. So it's under author now, so I just hit page, and then you can see the name of each author coming up right here. You know, so there you go. There's all the different authors, and then when you find the author that you're looking for, it'll pull up all his amps, and then you just scroll through those. So it kind of narrows it down for you and makes it very easy. Okay, so let's say we're looking for a particular amplifier. Let's say it's an EVH. So we turn the browser knob, and then we hit sort by, and then we want by amp cab. And then we hit the page buttons, and here we are, EVH 5153. So all of the EVH amps are in here by all the different makers. So whoever made an EVH, they're all in this section right here. So you could find any one that you want. So it really does help narrow it down, because once again, you could carry several hundred profiles in here and get lost in trying to find the thing that you're looking for. So this really helps narrow that down for you. Okay, so let's say you got the pedals all dialed in the way you want on the Kemper, but now you want to move them to different slots. So all you have to do is hold down the stops button until it blinks, and then a menu pops up right here. Right here is Move Effect. So push that, select the effect you want to move, and then arrows pop up here. You can move them in either direction. So I can move it here, and see how it changes places with the next unit, and then I can move it back. So all you have to do is just move it around to where you want it to go, hit exit twice, and you're out, and your pedals are rearranged. So that's basically what you have to remember with the Kemper, is anytime you want to make changes on a pedal or any other parameter on there, just hold down the button that's associated with what you're trying to do, and a menu will pop up and allow you to change a whole bunch of parameters. Okay, so one other thing I want to tell you about the Kemper is how to program the remote. So if you want to assign a foot switch to whatever stomp up here that you want to control, all you have to do is hold down the stomp up here and push the foot switch that you want to control it, and that's it. And it's programmed. It'll turn it on and off remote now. Okay, so in conclusion, let me just say this about the three products' interfaces. The Headrush was definitely the easiest one to use because it has a touch screen, and we all use touch screens on our phones and our tablets now, so it was very easy to get integrated with it. I mean, I didn't really have to think too much about what I had to do because it's pretty intuitive, so I will have to give them the #1 score in this one, which I'd give them an A. I mean, it was really good. It was very easy to use, and I didn't really find myself struggling too much with anything at all. And let me just say this, I just got this thing from a friend of mine, Aaron Lucas, shout out, let me use this so that I can do this quick little mini series on these three products. And I only got to use it for a day or two, so I only had a few hours with it before I shot the video, and I got really familiar with everything very easily. So I have to give them the highest score as far as the interface goes, and I give the Helix a very close second with an A-. So you got an A for the Headrush, an A- for the Helix, and the only reason why I give them that is because they don't have a touchscreen like the Headrush does. So again, everybody uses touchscreens now, so it's very familiar and very easy for us to get to know, and we don't really have to do a lot of guessing with it. We just pick things up and just tap and scroll things around, and it's very easy to use. So but that said, the Helix still has a very, very intuitive and easy to use product, and I didn't find myself getting frustrated with it when I got mine 4 years ago. It was very quick to learn everything, and I absolutely really do enjoy using the interface on the Helix. It's not frustrating to use at all. Now I'm going to have to score the Kemper the lowest grade in this particular series because out of the three, it was the hardest to use. It doesn't mean that it's difficult to use. It just means out of these three products, it is the most difficult. Are there workarounds with the Kemper to make it easier and stuff like that? Yes, there are workarounds, and I showed you a few of them in the video. But let me just say this. Once you figure out the workarounds in the Kemper, like holding down the buttons and menus opening up and stuff like that, and there's many other ones, but I can only go so long in these videos. Once you figure those out, honestly, you'll find the Kemper to be extremely easy to use as well. It just, you have to kind of do some research to figure that stuff out. And then, like I said, once you do, you're good. But with the Helix and the Headrush, you really don't need the instruction manual. Seriously, I mean, I've never read it on either one, and they were both extremely easy to use. With the Kemper, I had to go online and watch a lot of tutorial videos to find out all the little secrets on how to make things easier with it. But again, once you find those secrets out, it's super easy. In fact, once you find those things out, there's a lot of really cool things that elevate the ease of use with the Kemper quite a bit. Well, this is the first of 2 or possibly 3 videos in this mini-series with these 3 products. The next one, I'm going to cover how they sound and how they feel. And if I have enough time to fit in the effects on that particular video, I'll put that in there as well. If not, that will be on a separate video. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and to all my subscribers, thank you very much for watching and sharing my videos and commenting. I really do enjoy interacting with you guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, and click the bell so that you can be notified when I come out with new episodes, because I got a lot of great stuff coming up, and I'll see you on the next one.